I'm going to make a Booktube tag. Oh my goodness gracious. Alright. So now that was horribly embarrassing for my wife, really, not me. Here is my one question Booktube tag. I want to do some one question Booktube tags because I enjoy story. Okay, I enjoy people telling me stories. So I'm going to tell you a story, and then I'm going to tag you watching this, to tell me all about yours. Okay, so what this tag is the first love scene I ever read. Okay, now this is. Let me see what happens here. Anything? A little bit. I like doing this because if I go like this, my background becomes kind of bluish. A bluish tint that makes everything okay. Now it's not doing it, so I feel a little upset. So anyway, the first love scene you ever read. I will start with mine. I think I was in 5th grade, which would put me at roughly 11-ish, maybe 10. No, 11. Yeah, we'll go 11 or 12. And the book was it was a double book. It was the novelization of Nightmare on Elm Street 4, The Dream Master, and Nightmare on Elm Street 5, The Dream Child. Now, I bought that book with my little vacation fund I had when I went to my grandmother's house up in Tulare, California, Central California. She used to live in a. It was 100 years old in 1988, so who fucking knows? I'm trying to think of what year it was. Anyway, it was a Victorian mansion from 1888. So that basically means it wasn't very big. But at the time it was built, it was pretty impressive. So I had the book, and it was always at that grandma we called grandmère. She was very into being French and amazing and stuff like that. So, like, she would drink martinis at 9 o'clock in the morning, kind of thing. But it was always so, like, chill at her house. So I would sit at the kitchen table, have my breakfast, and read my Nightmare on Elm Street book. So I had seen both of these movies already. I was, as a child, in the 80s with video rental stores everywhere. I saw a lot of things I shouldn't have seen. But horror films were like my jam when I was a wee lad. So Dream Master wasn't that bad. Get through it. Now, if you remember the opening scene of The Dream Child, Nightmare on Elm Street 5, you will remember that as the credits are rolling, what's happening? Well, Alice is taking a shower, and then the guy, I can't remember what the guy's name is. He's very, like, dude bro, jock guy. I can't remember what his name is, damn it. But anyway, they're making out and bumping uglies, and there's shots of, like, clawing the bed sheets and all this other stuff. And my 11, 12-year-old mind was like, "Boo!" And, like, I felt so, like, filthy reading it at the kitchen table across from my grandma, and, like, trying not to be like, oh my gosh, I'm reading a love scene, this is crazy. And I didn't call it a love scene then. I called it, they were doing it. And I was just terrified the whole time. And I was like afraid like someone was gonna walk up behind me, and I kept like looking over my shoulder while I was reading it. I read that thing like probably like 10 times that trip. I was just like, I couldn't freaking believe it. And I think even if you're watching it, like if you're watching the film, because I think it even goes into it in the book, like you follow, this is so horrible, but you follow the trail of the semen. Am I even allowed to talk about this on Booktube? Um, and she gets pregnant. And because it was a consensual procreation thing, I think I'm allowed to talk about it. But yeah, it was like super filthy. I was terrified. I couldn't believe I read it. I read it in front of my grandma, which made me grossed out and terrified at the same time. So it was good times, good fun. So now I want to know the story about the first love scene you read. It could be a good story, it could be a not so good story, but just remember there's no bad stories. All stories are good because you're telling them. So it'll be exciting, and I'm very excited to hear about them. So I'm going to tag some people, but I want you to know, I want everyone who has a BookTube channel that watches me to do this tag and let me know when they do it. Because this is going to probably be some pretty exciting stuff. So definitely Steve Donahue is getting tagged here. Richardson Reeds is getting tagged here. Peter Clark, the writer, is getting tagged here. Dusty Bookshelf. Sci-fi Reviews with Peg. Just like everybody, like anyone who is accidentally watching this, I want to know your terrifying story, because for some reason I'm assuming that everyone's first love scene they read has some horrific like things about it, because like nothing sexual has ever happened in a good way. It's always ridiculous, it's awkward, it's funny, it's awkward, it's awful, okay? So I can't wait to hear about it. And please leave links below if you do it. I did say do. Sorry. But yeah, so have fun getting awkward. Bye.